Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Say it again with me, slowly. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Maybe tonight you are not thinking about strength at all. Maybe you are thinking about how tired you are, how long you have been waiting for something to change, how many times you have tried to hold it together and felt yourself slipping anyway. You clicked on this video because some part of you needed to hear these words tonight, even if you couldn't say why. That's not an accident. This verse has been quoted on locker room walls and graduation cards until it barely sounds like scripture anymore. But I did not speak it as decoration. I spoke it through a man in chains, and it means something far different and far closer to where you are right now than you've been told. Stay with me. I want to show you what these words actually carry. Every word in this verse is doing work, but one word carries the entire weight of the sentence. Through, not by my own effort, not in my own willpower. Through, as in a channel, a passage, a means by which strength moves from one place to another. Paul did not write, I can do all things because I am strong. He wrote it because he was not. Here is who said these words and where he said them. Paul wrote this letter to the church at Philippi from a prison cell, likely in Rome, under guard, uncertain whether he would live or be executed. He had no control over his circumstances. He had no freedom, no comfort, no promise of release. And it is from that cell, not from a place of victory, that these words came. That matters for you, because you may be measuring your right to this promise by how strong you currently feel. You may think a verse like this belongs to people who have it figured out. The confident, the composed, the ones who look like they're winning. But the man who wrote it was writing in restraints. I am not asking whether you feel strong tonight. I am telling you where the strength was always meant to come from. It was never meant to originate in you. It was meant to pass through you, from me. Think of a pipe carrying water to a field that could not produce a single drop on its own. The pipe does not manufacture the water. It does not deserve credit for the harvest. It simply stays connected, and the water moves through it, and the ground that was dry becomes ground that grows something. You are the pipe tonight, not the source. That should not discourage you. It should relieve you. You have been carrying yourself like the whole outcome rests on your grip, your effort, your ability to hold everything together without cracking. It never did. I strengthen, you receive. That is the order these words were written in, and it is the order I am restoring in you tonight. Whether you have been exhausted from trying to be enough on your own, or quietly ashamed that you're not. Notice too, what Paul did not write. He did not write, Christ who removes all things. He did not write, Christ who prevents all things. He wrote strengthens, present tense, ongoing. A strength that keeps arriving rather than a rescue that arrives once and ends the story. The chains around his wrists were not gone by the time he wrote this sentence. The strength simply kept moving through him while the chains stayed. That distinction matters for you tonight. You may have been asking me to remove the thing you're facing and feeling forgotten when it hasn't lifted yet. I hear that prayer, but this verse was never a promise of removal. It is a promise of strengthening, a supply that renews as you need it, not a single rescue you either get or don't. The strength was never supposed to be yours to generate. It was only ever supposed to move through you, from me, today, and again tomorrow, for as long as you need it to. Now I want to correct something, gently, because it has cost people more than they realize. This verse is most often quoted alone, one line, lifted out, printed on a mug, tattooed on a wrist. But Paul did not begin his thought at verse 13. Read what comes directly before it. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learnt the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. Philippians 4:12. Do you see the condition hiding inside your favorite verse? All things was never a blank check for ambition. It was Paul's way of saying, I have learned to be content, whether I have much or I have nothing, and that contentment in both directions is possible through Christ who strengthens me. This is not a verse about achieving your goals. It is a verse about surviving your circumstances without losing yourself. It was never a promise that I would help you get what you want. It is a promise that I will strengthen you to remain steady in scarcity and in plenty, in the waiting and in the answer. I say this to you without guilt, because I know how this verse has been used against you. You have quoted it while chasing something and felt like a failure when the strength didn't produce the outcome you were praying for. You assumed the verse broke its promise. It didn't. You were reading a different verse than the one Paul wrote. The condition was never, if you believe hard enough, you can have anything. The condition was Paul's own confession. I have learned, not arrived, not mastered instantly. Learned over time, through hunger and through plenty, through prison and through provision. So tonight, let me ask you gently, what have you been demanding this verse do for you that it was never written to do? And what has it actually been offering you all along that you may have walked past? It was never a formula for getting. It is a promise for enduring, with me, through anything. Here is the lie I want to dismantle tonight, because I know you carry it. The belief that my strength is waiting for you somewhere further down the road, after the situation improves, after you've healed, after you finally get it together. That is not what Paul's circumstance shows you. He did not write, I could do all things, once he was released from prison. He wrote it from inside the cell. The strength did not wait for the chains to fall off. It moved through him while the chains were still there. If you are waiting for calm before you believe I can strengthen you, you are waiting for a condition the verse never required. Paul had no calm. He had a guard, a sentence, and an uncertain future. And it was there, not afterward, that he wrote of contentment and strength. You may be telling yourself that your prayers, your faith, your reaching out to me tonight don't count as much because your life is still messy. Your finances are still unclear. Your relationship is still strained. Your body is still tired. I want to be plain with you. None of that disqualifies you from this verse. It is the exact setting this verse was written in. This is not a promise for after you've cleaned yourself up. It is a promise for the middle of the mess, the cell, the waiting room, the apartment where the silence feels loud, the hospital hallway, the year that hasn't gone the way you hoped. I am not withholding strength until your circumstances change. I am offering it through the circumstances, the same way I offered it through Paul's chains. You do not need to fix your life first to qualify for this. You only need to stay connected to the source, the way the pipe stays connected to the water. Tonight is not a waiting room for my strength. It is where my strength moves. Look again at Paul's own words just before this verse. He says he has learned this in any and every circumstance, not in the ideal one, not in the resolved one, but in every one, including the ones he did not choose and could not fix. If the promise held in a Roman prison cell, it holds in your apartment, your car, your hospital bed, your inbox full of unanswered messages. The setting was never the qualifier. Staying connected to me was. I am not asking you to feel differently right now. I am asking you to do something small and specific. Say the verse out loud tonight, not as a slogan, but as Paul meant it, as a confession of dependence. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Emphasize the word through. Let it remind you where the strength originates every time you say it. Then name one specific place where you have been trying to generate your own strength instead of receiving mine. Maybe it's a conversation you're dreading, maybe it's a diagnosis, a bill, a child you're worried about, a decision you keep circling without landing. Say it to me by name, the way Paul named his hunger and his plenty rather than glossing over them. Consider Paul's other words on this same subject, written to the church in Corinth. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And Paul's response to that, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. 2 Corinthians 12:9. That is the same posture Philippians 4:13 is asking of you. Not the posture of someone proving their strength, but someone admitting they have none of their own, and finding that admission is exactly where my power finds room to work. So here is what living this verse looks like this week. When you feel the familiar pressure to hold everything together by sheer will, stop and say instead, I don't have to generate this, I only have to stay connected. Then take the next right step, the phone call, the appointment, the hard conversation, not because you feel strong enough, but because the strength moves through obedience, not before it. You will not feel a surge of superhuman power. You will feel, instead, a strange steadiness in the middle of a circumstance that hasn't changed yet. That steadiness is the strength Paul wrote about. That is me, moving through you, the way water moves through a pipe toward ground that could not produce anything on its own. Almost everyone stops at verse 13. Almost no one reads verse 14, yet it was kind of you to share my trouble. Paul, immediately after declaring his contentment and his strength through Christ, turns and thanks the Philippians for standing with him in his hardship. He does not say the partnership was unnecessary because he had me. He says both were true at once. I strengthened him, and he was grateful for the people who stayed close to him in the trouble. This is the part people skip because it complicates the version of this verse they've been sold. The version where you need nothing and no one because you've got a Bible verse and enough willpower. That was never Paul's picture. His strength through me did not make him self-sufficient. It made him able to endure while still receiving help, still writing letters, still building relationships in the middle of his imprisonment. If you have been trying to live this verse alone, refusing to tell anyone how hard tonight actually is, I am not asking that of you. I am asking you to let my strength move through you, and to let it also move through the people I have placed near you. Contentment was never isolation. It was steadiness in relationship, in community, in shared trouble. Read the rest of the chapter sometime this week. You'll find a man in chains who was still specific in his prayers, still grateful for the people around him, still writing about peace that surpasses understanding. Right there in verse 7, a few lines before the verse you know by heart. Philippians 4:13. One more time, slowly. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Tonight, do this. Say the word throughout loud and let it be your prayer. Not I can, as if it depended on you. Through, as if it depends on staying connected to me, in whatever state you find yourself in tonight, hungry or full, waiting or answered, weak or steady. I am not waiting for your circumstances to change before I strengthen you. I am not waiting for you to feel ready. I am already moving through the very situation you are sitting in right now. I am your strength. I have been the whole time.